Well, it's Friday, the 27th of February 2015. Good morning and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show, the online edition. My name is Wahiga Mora. Let's get straight into the day's news now. And the three media houses embroiled in a row over digital migration appeared before members of parliament, where they explained their frustrations in the hands of the Communication Authority, despite their repeated assurance that they are not opposed to going digital. Members of the Energy and Communication Committee expressed concerns over delays in resolving the dispute that has seen Citizen TV, NTV, KTN and QTV remain off-air for nearly 2 weeks.
If the executive is unable to resolve the issue, maybe the House could step in. We hope they will.
Having almost exhausted all avenues, Royal Media Services, Nation Media Group and the Standard Group, which have been off-air for almost 2 weeks now, were before the third arm of government to present their case on the current standoff between them and the Communication Authority over digital migration. Members of the Committee of Energy and Communication expressing concern over the continued blackout.
You have many workers, manpower. Where are they now? Since the courts were unable to solve this problem, the executive has been unable to completely solve this problem. They are saying the House of Parliament, they rely on Parliament to give them an opportunity to watch their preferred channels.
The President ordered us, the three media houses and the regulator, he gave us 2 days, go and agree on this and come back with a solution. But that's now 2 weeks ago and nothing has really happened. So that's where we are.
The bone of contention, according to the three media houses, remains the fact that the government appears hell-bent to have them hand over their signal to foreign-owned Pang or government-controlled signets.
Did you switch yourselves off?
Yes, we switched off our studios.
They were telling us we keep our studios running to deliver the same signal, no difference, but to pay television. If we deliver it to pay television, we actually have killed ourselves because they will continue selling the content. They are not incurring costs.
The study showed that 5 of their top most popular programs on their bouquet are from local programming. This is Wakina Papa Shiradura, Siju Winston, whatever. What is that telling you? That the ones that is actually giving them traction is the content where they are paying zero.
These stations have been asking for time till the 30th of May to allow them to lay infrastructure for digital broadcasting, which includes importing transmitters and set-top boxes, which will also require time to distribute.
What would be the charges be if you go to your own set of boxes? What will Kenyans, what exactly will be charging for that?
It depends very much, in fact, whether the government is going to give a waiver on the duties and VAT and all that kind of stuff. That's why the actual cost is a bit hazy at the moment. But we have made arrangements with Equity Bank. For anybody who is not able to raise the 3,000 bob or 2,500, they can go to any Equity branch throughout the country and get a loan of a 12-month period to pay pole so that everybody is there.
And what about monthly charges?
There will be no monthly charges. This is free to air. Once you buy that, you're done.
South African government approved 40 billion shillings equivalent to buy set boxes to distribute to poor South Africans to be able to migrate to digital in 2016, not 2015, in 2016. And the boxes be bought and distributed by the government. The Americans actually did. If you go up how they migrated, they actually gave ordinary citizens 2 decoders, 2 set boxes, each free of charge. Put in a supermarket, you would pick vouchers for $40 each and you go and pick. So migration to digital is actually a bigger responsibility to the government.
I heard CK talking about VEDA license. Have they issued you that license?
We are not doing it directly ourselves through ADN. Actually, ADN, we negotiated with the Safaricom and we negotiated with the Equity Bank, whoever gives the best facility to be the main owner of that box. So we are only coming as broadcasters, but to facilitate where actually is the role of the government to be doing so.
The Communications Authority has been criticized for rushing the migration process without considering the interests of Kenyans.
UK, for instance, took 14 years to migrate the process. Here, our process, we are being told to migrate within months.
What you have had being called smokers period. And that's what has happened in all analog translating to digital, is that you are given either a spare frequency to run a digital signal and parallel to the analog, so that you are able to transfer listeners. That means by pushing them to buy boxes and telling them, I'm going to switch off this analog that you are seeing, at this time, and you must buy this box at this time because you can only see television when you buy this box. So you translate slowly, but here, because it has been done the other way around, all we were asking the government is to allow analog to run until 30th May, initially 30th April, because we know these boxes will be here, the transmission for signal will be here. That's all we were asking for.
Is it true that the three media houses are afraid of competition in the new digital environment?
We're not afraid of competition. To be honest with you, Chairman, the only competition is between Nation, KTN, and Citizen. The rest is neither here nor there. Currently, we have 40 licensed television, and we want even more to come.
3 media houses here, but out there we compete like anything to build on viewership. And you build viewership on the basis that you have best programs on your TV or your radio.
Why do the local investors have to struggle so much to get what we think would be an obvious thing for a local investor? And therefore, when people are coming out there, we are embracing them, and then, to the detriment of the people. That's what we cannot understand.
The committee last week heard from the Communications Authority and is now expected to table a report before the House. Esther Kahumbi, Citizen TV Online Edition.
Ababu Namwamba has spectacularly survived a bid to topple him from the chairmanship of the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, over corruption claims. Though 13 out of the 26 committee members voted to oust the Budalangi Member of Parliament as PAC chairman, Namwamba survived since at least one more member was required to back the no-confidence motion. But as Francis Gashuri reports, intense lobbying and a last-minute intervention by court leader Raila Odinga is what saved Namwamba from a disgraceful exit.
Budalangi lawmaker Ababu Namwamba's tenure as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee seemed destined for a premature and ignominious end as members walked to committee room number 9 at Parliament buildings for a vote of no confidence motion against the second-time parliamentarian. But behind the scenes intrigues, intense lobbying and last-minute change of heart saved Namwamba from a disgraceful exit over allegations of bribery, doctoring committee reports and general abuse of his position.
What has happened today really is that good has triumphed over evil. Truth has triumphed over lies and speculation.
But Namwamba had survived by the skin of his teeth, with 13 out of 26 members of the committee voting to oust him. Those pushing for his impeachment needed at least 14 votes to remove him, as House rules dictate that more than half of the membership must back a successful no-confidence motion. 9 members voted to save Namwamba. The committee's Vice Chair Cecily Mbarire and Andrew Mwadime of Mwatate abstained, while 2 committee members kept off the voting exercise altogether.
Those who were against got 13, they fall short of 1, and therefore Abab remains the chair of PAC until 6 months from now.
Mwatate Member of Parliament Andrew Mwadime, Ijara's Mohamed Abbas, and his Nyotike counterpart Eddie Kanyanga were the 3 core members of Parliament who had signed in support of the Namwamba impeachment motion. But sources indicate that a last evening intervention by opposition chief Raila Odinga forced them to change their mind.
Yeah, we came back as ODM together and we decided we can't remove our chairman and our SG. He will remain the chairman and the SG for many years to come.
No. It's supposed to be there. He's our chairman. But when there is serious allegations against him and he makes serious allegations against other members, to divert attention, then there is a problem. Something needs to be done. Let the anti-corruption come and find out further what is happening in this committee. It is important.
And this matter has turned out from the deliberations that we have had today that this is politics at play. And it is politics both sides. It is politics within my own home, and my home is CORD, ODM, so it's politics within CORD, and it's also politics from rivals. But what I'm happy about is that I have been vindicated.
Namwamba says though he has survived what he calls the most difficult week, pulling the committee together will be his immediate task.
This is a matter that has been triggered by external forces. And those external forces are primarily political. And so if it's a matter triggered from outside, the committee can decide, make a collective decision that we will ignore these external forces and focus on the responsibilities before the committee.
PSC has been probing major scandals, including the questionable procurement of biometric voter registration kits, corruption allegations in the judiciary and the office of the president, as well as scrutinizing reports of the Auditor General on public expenditure.
Now, Parliament has resolved to form an 8-member task force to spearhead efforts to save the CDF following a High Court ruling that declared it unconstitutional. A Speaker's informal meeting resolved to appeal the ruling, push for amendments to the CDF Act, as well as seek an extension of the 12-month window given by the court to make changes that would entrench it in the Constitution. The task force members will be decided by the House leadership next week. Right, let's now take a look at other stories. And the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Joseph Nkaiseri, says the government will appeal the High Court's decision annulling 8 sections of the Security Laws Amendment Act. Nkaiseri has also announced plans to build a wall along Kenya's border with Somalia, which is expected to keep off Al-Shabaab militias. Speaking in Naivasha during the opening of the East African Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization, that's EAPCO, Nkaiseri accused the judiciary of being a stumbling block in the government's war against terror. The court threw out the sections following a petition by the opposition court, which argued that the law takes away key rights guaranteed by the Constitution.
There's some space on the other end.
The decision the court took to outlaw the clauses in the Law Act was wrong, so to speak. And I think the government is going to appeal because fighting crime, especially terrorism, it requires the country really to put its foot forward. So I appeal to the AG to appeal the decision of the court, especially entering of Kenya from Somalia, especially in Mandera, is a critical issue. Last night, we lost one individual because of that. People came and shoot people, and then they disappeared. So I think it's a right decision the government has taken.
Elsewhere, a joint security committee of National and Senate Assemblies yesterday vetted President Uhuru Kenyatta's nominee for the position of the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Kipchirchir Boynet. Boynet has told the members of parliament and senators that if appointed, he will use his academic qualifications in security management and diplomacy to reform the police service and fight graft. The intelligence officer intimated that he would lobby members of parliament to amend the law to set clear command structures in the police service in response to a question by Parliamentary National Security Committee Chairman Asman Kamama. Nominated Senator Elizabeth Ongoro questioned the authenticity of Boynet's academic papers, but Kamama directed that the committee verifies the matter itself. The IG position fell vacant after David Kimayo resigned following pressure over his inability to contain insecurity. Now, in other stories, 4 people have died and 6 others have been critically injured after a fire razed their homes at Gatwekera in Kibera slum, Nairobi. According to residents, the fire started at around midnight and was caused by a paraffin stove that exploded, burning a mattress in one of the houses before the fire spread. The bodies of a mother and her child were taken to the Nairobi City Mortuary, and the injured were rushed to the Kenyatta National Hospital. Residents are now calling on the national government to enhance the emergency response capacity of relevant agencies as firefighters did not respond to their distress calls on time.
Belinda alisatoka na bwana yake vizuri sana. Ati alirudi kuchukua manguo. Nikauliza nguo. Ati akachukua beseni, sijui alifunika kichwa yake, ati anaenda kuchukua manguo zake. Vile aliingia kwa nyumba, moto akazidi. Sasa hiyo dada yangu aliniambia hivyo.
Niseme tu ni wananchi ambao walijitokeza, walisikia manduru ikipigwa hapa na pale na wakajitokeza kwa haraka na wakaweza kuzima hiyo moto. Haikuchukua kama nusu saa hivi. Sasa zile wananchi walikuwa wameingia.
Well, very unfortunate series of events there. But that's all the time we had right now for the Power Breakfast News. We'll be back in the next hour with much more. But for now, it's Friday, time for us to take a musical journey with a couple of bands, amazing music, just to get you in the right mood for the weekend. We'll be right back in the next hour with all the day's news. But for now, enjoy the music. My name is Wahiga Mwaura.